Admiral Kyle Morrison stood at the large window of the space station and watched something that should not be there. 12 massive ships had appeared in space around Earth just minutes ago. They were bigger than anything humans had ever built. Each one was the size of a small city. Kyle had been in charge of Earth's orbital defense for 15 years. He had seen many things in space, but never anything like this. The ships were dark gray with strange lights running along their sides. They moved without making any sound, which was normal in space, but somehow they felt wrong. They felt dangerous. "Sir, we're getting no response to our signals," said Captain Lisa Grant from her station. She had been trying to talk to the alien ships for the past 10 minutes. Lisa was Earth's best person for talking to aliens, even though they had never found any aliens before today. She spoke 12 human languages and had studied every theory about how aliens might communicate. "Keep trying," Kyle told her. His voice was calm, but inside he felt worried. The ships had not answered any of their calls. They had not said hello. They had not said anything at all. They just sat there in space like giant metal monsters waiting to strike. Down on Earth, Colonel Jake Sullivan was running through the halls of the Pentagon. He had been in a meeting about the new defense satellites when the alarm started screaming. Now he was heading to the main command room where all of Earth's military leaders were gathering. "What do we know?" Jake asked as he entered the room. General Patricia Hayes was standing in front of a huge screen that showed the alien ships. 12 ships, each about 3 miles long. Patricia said. "They appeared out of nowhere 30 minutes ago. No response to any communication attempts. They're just sitting there." Jake looked at the screen. The ships looked like nothing he had ever seen. They were sleek and deadly, with weapons that could probably destroy Earth's entire fleet without breaking a sweat. Earth's Space Force had only 50 small ships, and most of those were for cargo runs to the moon. Back on the space station, Dr. Nathan Cross was studying the readings from his instruments. Nathan was a scientist who studied alien technology, even though no one was supposed to know that aliens existed. For 50 years, governments around the world had been preparing for this day. They had found pieces of alien ships that had crashed on Earth long ago. They had studied the technology and built defenses in secret. "Admiral," Nathan said quietly, walking over to Kyle. "These ships match the design patterns we found in the crashed probe from 1975. Kyle nodded. This was what they had feared. The aliens who had lost that probe were coming back, and they were not coming to talk. On the lead alien ship, Commander Vextar looked at the readings about Earth. His people called themselves the Zephyrian Empire, and they ruled over 20 star systems. They had conquered dozens of worlds and enslaved millions of creatures. Earth was supposed to be their next easy victory. "These humans have primitive technology," said his second in command. "Their weapons cannot hurt our shields. Their ships are slow and weak." Vextar smiled. It was not a nice smile. "Good. We will give them one chance to surrender. If they refuse, we will show them what happens to species that resist the Empire." President Maria Rodriguez was in the emergency bunker beneath Denver. She had been pulled from a trade meeting and told that Earth was being invaded. The news was so crazy that she almost did not believe it. But the pictures from space were real. The alien ships were real. "What are our options?" she asked General Hayes over the video link. "We have the orbital defense platforms," Patricia said. 50 ships in the fleet. The hidden weapons from Project Prometheus. It's not much against 12 ships that size, but it's what we have. Maria closed her eyes for a moment. She had known this day might come. Every president for the past 50 years had been told about the alien probe and the secret preparations. They had hoped it would never be needed. Back in space, the alien ships suddenly came to life. Lights began flashing along their sides. Weapon ports opened like the eyes of sleeping giants waking up. The largest ship moved forward toward Earth. "Admiral, we're getting a transmission," Lisa said. Her voice was shaking. "It's coming through on all frequencies." "Put it on screen," Kyle ordered. The image that appeared was terrifying. The alien looked like a cross between a lizard and a spider, with 6 arms and eyes that glowed red. When it spoke, the words came out in perfect English. Humans of Earth, the creature said. I am Commander Vextar of the Zephyrian Empire. Your world now belongs to us. You have one choice. Surrender now and some of you will live as our slaves. Resist, and all of you will die. The transmission cut off. For a moment, nobody said anything. The silence was broken by Lisa. Sir, they're powering up their weapons. Kyle watched as the alien ships began to glow brighter. He knew what was coming next. They were going to destroy something to show their power. That was always how it worked with bullies. First they threatened you, then they hurt you to prove. They were serious. 3 beams of bright blue light shot out from the alien ships. They hit 3 cities on Earth at the same time. New York, Tokyo, and London disappeared in flashes of light brighter than the sun. Where millions of people had been living just seconds ago, there was now nothing but smoking holes in the ground. The alien appeared on screen again. That was your warning. Surrender now or we will destroy every city on your planet. In the bunker, President Rodriguez stood up slowly. Her face was hard as stone. She thought about the 15 million people who had just died. She thought about her daughter in college, her parents in Florida, and all the people counting on her to make the right choice. She looked directly at the camera that would broadcast her message to the world and to the aliens listening. This is the President of Earth, she said. Her voice was clear and strong. You came to our world uninvited. You murdered our people without warning. You think we will bow down because you have bigger ships. She paused and took a deep breath. You're wrong. We choose war. Dr. Nathan Cross ran through the underground tunnels beneath NORAD Mountain. His hands shook as he entered the security codes that he had memorized 20 years ago, but never thought he would use. Behind him, alarms were screaming as the world watched 3 of its greatest cities burn in space. The heavy metal door opened with a loud hiss. Inside was a room that officially did not exist. Computer screens covered every wall, and in the center sat a red button that could change everything. Nathan had helped design what lay sleeping beneath mountains and oceans around the world. Now it was time to wake it up. Project Prometheus is online, he said into his radio. All systems green, waiting for authorization. 5,000 miles away, General Patricia Hayes stood in the war room watching satellite feeds of the destruction. The alien ships hung in space like metal vultures, waiting to see what the humans would do next. She had spent her entire career preparing for this moment, and now it was here. Dr. Cross, you have full authorization, she said. Wake them all up. Nathan's finger hovered over the red button for 1 second. Then he pressed it. Around the world, things that had been hidden for decades began to move. In the mountains of Colorado, huge doors opened in the rock faces. In the deserts of Nevada, the sand fell away to reveal metal platforms rising from underground. In the ocean depths, massive shapes began swimming toward the surface. Captain Ryan Torres was running toward his fighter when the hangar bay doors opened above him. He had been told this day might come, but seeing it happen was different. His fighter looked like nothing the public had ever seen. It was sleek and black with weapons that glowed blue like the alien ships. All pilots to your birds, came the voice over the speakers. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Ryan climbed into his cockpit and started the engines. The power felt different from normal human technology. It hummed with energy that seemed almost alive. That was because it was not entirely human technology. 50 years ago, an alien scout ship had crashed in the Nevada desert. The government had told the world it was a weather balloon, but they had been studying the wreckage ever since. Lieutenant Commander Amy Chen was already in space when the hidden weapons came online. She commanded a stealth ship that looked like a small asteroid from the outside. Inside it was packed with weapons designed to kill alien ships. She had been waiting in the shadow of the moon for 3 hours, watching the enemy fleet. Stealth. Squadron, this is command, came the voice in her headset. You are authorized to engage. Show them what humans can do. Amy smiled. It was not a nice smile. Copy that command. Beginning attack run. On the alien flagship, Commander Vextar was surprised when his tactical officer started shouting, Sir, we're detecting weapons signatures from the planet, lots of them. Impossible, Vextar said. Their technology is primitive. Our scans showed nothing that could threaten us. Sir, I'm reading orbital platforms coming online. They were hidden somehow, and there are ships launching from the planet's surface. Vextar looked at the display screen, where before there had been empty space around Earth. Now there were dozens of weapon platforms and strange ships that his sensors had trouble tracking. The humans had been hiding their real military strength. How did they conceal all of this? He demanded. His science officer looked frightened. Sir, some of this technology appears to be based on our own designs. I don't understand how that's possible. The first human attack came from the stealth ships. Amy Chen and her squadron appeared out of nowhere around 3 Zephyrian cruisers. Their weapons were small compared to the alien guns, but they fired beams of focused energy that cut through the alien shields like hot knives through butter. Direct hits on all 3 targets, Amy reported as the alien ships began to explode. Their shields don't work against our new weapons. Ryan Torres led the first wave of fighters from Earth. His squadron came up from the planet like a swarm of angry wasps. The aliens tried to shoot them down, but the human ships were too fast and too small. They danced between the alien weapons and fired back with guns that made the alien armor melt. This is impossible, Vextar said as he watched 2 of his ships die. These humans were supposed to be weak, but the humans were just getting started. From the hidden bases around the world, larger ships began to launch. They looked strange because they were built using both human engineering and alien technology. Captain Sophie Martinez commanded the first of the new battleships to reach space. Alien Fleet, this is Captain Martinez of the Earth Defense Force, she said over the radio. You came here to conquer us, big mistake. Her ship fired its main gun. The weapon had been built using technology from the crashed alien probe, but improved by 50 years of human engineering. The beam that shot out was brighter than lightning and hit the nearest alien ship with enough force to crack it in half. Down on Earth, Dr. Elena Rodriguez was working frantically in her laboratory. She was the president's sister, but more importantly, she was the best scientist Earth had for understanding alien technology. She had been studying the wreckage from the old crash site, and now she thought she had found something important. General Hayes, she said into her phone. I think I found their weakness. Their power systems all work on the same frequency. If we can match that frequency and reverse it, we can overload their entire power grid. Can you build a weapon that does that? Patricia asked. I already have, Elena said, looking at the device on her workbench. But we need to get very close to their ships for it to work. In space, the battle was getting more intense. The aliens had 12 massive ships, but the humans had hundreds of smaller ones. The human ships were like a pack of wolves attacking a group of bears. They were smaller and weaker individually, but they worked together and they were very, very angry. Commander Daniel Hayes led a team of enhanced soldiers onto a damaged Zephyrian destroyer. His team had been changed using alien biotechnology that made them stronger and faster than normal humans. They moved through the alien ship like ghosts, taking out the crew and downloading information from their computers. Command. We're in their computer system, Daniel reported. Downloading everything we can find. What they found was terrifying. The Zephyrian Empire controlled 20 star systems and had enslaved hundreds of different species. They had been planning to use humans as slave workers in their mines and factories. Earth was just one more planet to be conquered and stripped of resources. But they had made one big mistake. They thought humans were just another weak species that would give up when faced with superior firepower. They did not understand that humans had been preparing for this fight for 50 years. They did not know that humans never gave up, especially when their families were threatened. Admiral Kyle Morrison watched from the space station as more human ships joined the battle. The aliens were starting to realize they were in trouble. Their formation was breaking apart as human ships attacked from all directions. All ships, this is Admiral Morrison, he said over the fleet communication system. These things destroyed our cities. They killed our people. They came here thinking we would be easy prey. Let's show them how wrong they were. The human ships pressed their attack. They had waited 50 years for this fight, and they were not going to waste the chance. The aliens had started this war by murdering 15 million innocent people. Now they were going to learn what happened when you made humanity angry. Commander Vextar looked at his tactical display and felt something he had not felt in many years. Fear. Half of his fleet was dead or damaged, and more human ships kept appearing. These were not the primitive creatures his scouts had reported. These were warriors who had been planning for this battle for decades. "Send a message to the Empire," he ordered. "Tell them we need the main fleet, all of it." But as he gave the order, Vextar wondered if even the main fleet would be enough. The humans had surprised him once. What other surprises were they hiding? The space around Earth lit up like a deadly fireworks show as 200 new alien ships appeared out of nowhere. They were bigger than the first 12 ships, and in the center of the fleet was a monster that dwarfed everything else. The Zephyrian flagship was 10 miles long and bristled with enough weapons to destroy planets. Supreme Admiral Kethmore stood on the bridge of his flagship and expected to see Earth burning. Instead, he saw something that made his blood run cold. His advance fleet was scattered and half destroyed. Human ships swarmed around the wreckage like angry insects, and more kept coming from hidden bases all over the solar system. "How is this possible?" he demanded. Commander Vexitar reported that these humans were primitive. His tactical officer was studying the sensor readings with confusion. "Sir, their technology appears to be a hybrid of our designs and something else. Something we don't recognize. And they're manufacturing ships at an impossible rate." Down on Earth, the planet had become a fortress. Every major city had been evacuated to underground bunkers that went miles deep into the rock. The surface was now covered with weapon platforms, shield generators, and factories that ran day and night building ships and weapons. Captain Sophie Martinez stood in the command center of the main orbital shipyard. Through the windows, she could see human workers and robots building new warships every 6 hours. The construction bays that had taken months to build one cargo ship were now spitting out battle cruisers faster than the aliens could destroy them. "How many ships do we have ready?" she asked her chief engineer. 1,200 in space, 300 more launching every day, came the reply. "And that's just from this facility. The lunar yards are producing even faster." Sophie nodded. When the aliens had killed 15 million people in 3 cities, they had made humanity very angry. When humans got angry, they got creative. And when humans got creative with unlimited resources and alien technology to study, they became very dangerous very quickly. Commander Daniel Hayes led his enhanced soldiers through the corridors of the alien flagship. His team had used captured alien teleporter technology to beam directly onto the enemy ship. They moved like shadows, their enhanced muscles and reflexes making them faster than any normal human. "We're approaching their main computer core," Daniel whispered into his radio. "Uploading virus package now." The virus had been designed by Dr. Elena Rodriguez, using information stolen from the first alien ships. It was built to spread through the Zephyrian computer networks and steal every piece of information they had. More importantly, it would map the location of every world in their empire. Dr. Elena Rodriguez was not just the president's sister anymore. She had become the most important scientist on Earth. Her laboratory was now the size of a small city, buried deep under the Rocky Mountains. Hundreds of scientists worked with her to understand and improve the alien technology. "I've got it," she said, looking at the readouts from Daniel's mission. "Their entire star map, 20 systems, dozens of worlds, billions of aliens. And I know where their home planet is." General Patricia Hayes looked at the star map with grim satisfaction. "How long to get there?" "With our new faster-than-light drives, about 2 weeks per system," Elena replied. "But Admiral, we need to finish this battle first." The battle in Earth's orbit was getting more intense by the hour. The aliens had more ships, but the humans had home field advantage, and they were fighting for their survival. Every human ship that was destroyed was replaced by 2 more. Every alien ship that died was gone forever. Captain Logan Pierce commanded the largest human battleship ever built. It was called the Terra's Wrath, and it was armed with every weapon that human and alien science could create. He flew it straight at the alien flagship like a missile aimed at the heart of the enemy fleet. "All ships, this is Pierce," he said over the fleet communications. Form up on me. We're going to ram that big ugly ship right down their throats." Supreme Admiral Kethmore watched the human ships approaching and felt something he had never experienced before. These creatures were not just fighting back, they were winning. His empire had conquered dozens of worlds, but they had always faced enemies who eventually surrendered when the odds became too great. Humans seemed to get more dangerous the longer the fight went on. "Sir, we're receiving damage reports from across the fleet," his communications officer reported. "The humans are targeting our shield generators with pinpoint accuracy. They know exactly where to hit us." "How can they know our ship designs so well?" Kethmore demanded. On Earth, millions of people worked in underground factories that had been built in secret over 50 years. They made weapons, ships, and ammunition around the clock. Every person on the planet was part of the war effort now. Children as young as 10 worked in the electronics factories. Old people who should have been retired ran the food production centers that kept everyone fed. President Maria Rodriguez toured one of the main production facilities. She walked among workers who had lost family members in the first attack, but kept building weapons to strike back. Their faces were hard with determination, and grief turned into anger. "How are we doing on ammunition?" she asked the facility manager. "We're producing faster than we can ship it to the fleet," he replied. "Every bullet, every missile, every energy cell is built by someone who lost someone they loved." In space, Commander Amy Chen led her stealth squadron on another attack run. Her ships had been upgraded with new weapons that could punch through alien armor like paper. She had personally destroyed 8 alien ships and was looking for her 9th. "Stealth Squadron, we have a new target," came the voice from Fleet Command. "Intelligence reports that ship contains their communication array. Take it out and they can't call for more reinforcements." Amy smiled coldly. "Consider it done." The battle reached a turning point when Captain Ryan Torres made a discovery. His fighter had been equipped with new sensors that could detect gravitational fields. As he flew past the alien flagship, his instruments picked up something strange. "Command, this is Torres," he reported. "The big alien ship is charging some kind of massive weapon. Energy readings are off the charts." Dr. Elena Rodriguez heard the report and felt her blood turn to ice. She had seen references to this weapon in the alien computer files. It was called a planet killer, and it could crack a world in half. "General Hayes," she said urgently, "they're preparing to destroy Earth entirely. If they can't conquer us, they're going to make sure nobody else can have us either." Patricia Hayes looked at the tactical display. The human fleet was winning, but slowly. If the aliens used their planet killer weapon, it would not matter how many ships humans had. Earth would be gone, and billions of people would die. "How long until they can fire?" she asked. 30 minutes, maybe less," Elena replied. "Then we need to end this battle in the next 30 minutes, Patricia said grimly. "Signal all ships. Full attack, no reserves, everything we have." The human fleet responded like a pack of wolves scenting blood. Every ship, every fighter, every weapon platform turned toward the alien flagship. They came from all directions at once, ignoring the other alien ships, focused on the one target that mattered. Most. Supreme Admiral Kethmore watched the human attack and realized he had made a terrible mistake. He had thought these creatures were just another primitive species. Instead, they were something far more dangerous. They were survivors who had been preparing for this war longer than he had been alive. "Sir, human ships are breaking through our defensive line," his tactical officer reported. "They're heading straight for us." Kethmore looked at the display and saw hundreds of human ships racing toward his flagship. Their weapons were blazing, their shields were failing, but they kept coming. Even when his guns destroyed them, more took their place. "These humans are insane," he said to himself. "They fight like they have nothing to lose." But that was exactly the point. When the aliens had destroyed 3 cities and killed 15 million people, they had shown humanity that surrender meant death anyway. So humans had chosen to die fighting, and in choosing to fight, they had found a way to win. The planet killer weapon was almost ready to fire when the first human ships broke through the alien defenses. Captain Pierce guided the Terra's Wrath directly at the alien flagship's main weapon, knowing that his ship would be destroyed but hoping to take the planet killer with him. "This is for New York, Tokyo, and London," he said as his ship exploded against the alien weapon in a flash of light brighter than the sun. The planet killer was destroyed, but the battle was far from over. Now it was a fight to the death between two species, and only one of them was going home. Admiral Kyle Morrison had been waiting for this moment his entire life. From his command station on the orbital platform, he looked out at the alien fleet trapped around Earth like flies in a spider's web. The gravity trap had worked perfectly. 200 alien warships hung in space, unable to escape, unable to run home for help. "All stations report ready," came the voice from his communications officer. "Operation Reversal is in position." Kyle smiled for the first time since the war began. The aliens thought they were fighting primitive humans with basic technology. They had no idea that Earth's orbital defense platforms were not just weapons. They were massive gravity generators that had been disguised as simple satellites for 50 years. "Execute Operation Reversal," Kyle ordered. "Spring the trap." All around Earth, the hidden gravity generators came online at the same time. Space itself began to bend and twist around the alien fleet. The Zephyrian ships tried to jump to hyperspace, but the gravity fields held them like chains made of the universe itself. Supreme Admiral Kethmore felt his flagship shake as the gravity waves hit it. His navigation officer was shouting numbers. That made no sense. "Sir, we cannot escape to hyperspace. Something is interfering with our jump drives." "What do you mean we cannot escape?" Kethmore demanded. "The humans have created artificial gravity wells around our entire fleet. We are trapped in Earth's gravity field. Our engines cannot break free." Kethmore stared at the tactical display in disbelief. His entire fleet was caught like fish in a net. The humans had been planning this trap for decades, maybe longer. They had let the Zephyrian fleet come close to Earth on purpose, knowing they could prevent them from leaving. Colonel Jennifer Adams was already inside the alien flagship with her Special Forces team. They had used the confusion of the gravity trap to teleport directly into the enemy ship's core sections. Jennifer carried a backpack full of resonance bombs that Dr. Elena Rodriguez had designed specifically to destroy Zephyrian technology. "Team Alpha, move to the power core," Jennifer whispered into her radio. "Team Beta, hit the weapons control. Team Charlie, secure the bridge. We have 10 minutes before they figure out we're here." Her soldiers moved through the alien ship like ghosts. They had trained for this mission using captured alien ships, learning every corridor and every weak point. The aliens had built their ships to fight enemies in space, not soldiers inside their own vessels. Captain Logan Pierce was flying his new ship toward the moon. After the Terra's Wrath had been destroyed, stopping the planet killer, he had been given command of the most advanced ship in the human fleet. It was called the Earth's Vengeance, and it was armed with resonance weapons that could make alien ships tear themselves apart. "Luna Base, this is Pierce," he said into his radio. "Requesting clearance for squadron launch." "Clearance granted, Captain," came the reply. "The Moon fleet is ready for combat. 200 ships armed with resonance weapons." Pierce looked out, his cockpit window at the hidden base inside the Moon. For 50 years, humans had been hollowing out the inside of the Moon and building a secret shipyard. The aliens had never detected it because it was completely hidden from their sensors. "Commander, Rachel Stone was already in space with the Lunar Squadron. Her ships had been built inside the Moon using a combination of human engineering and captured alien technology. They were faster than anything the Zephyrians had ever seen, and their weapons could destroy alien ships with a single shot." "All lunar ships, this is Stone," she said over the squadron radio. "Target the big ships first. Use the resonance frequency that Dr. Rodriguez discovered. Make every shot count." On Mars, Major Tyler Scott was leading the Martian fleet toward Earth. His ships had been built in underground factories on the Red Planet, using materials mined from the asteroid belt. The Martian fleet was smaller than the Lunar Squadron, but their ships were bigger and carried heavier weapons. "Earth Command, this is Scott," he reported. "Martian fleet is 3 hours out. We have 50 heavy cruisers and 20 dreadnoughts, ready to join the fight." Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched the battle from her underground laboratory. Her resonance frequency weapon was working perfectly. Every time a human ship fired the special weapon at an alien vessel, The enemy ship's power core overloaded and exploded. She had found the weakness in Zephyrian technology, and now humanity was using it to destroy their enemies. "General Hayes," she said into her phone, "the resonance weapons are exceeding all expectations. We're destroying their ships faster than they can repair them." General Patricia Hayes stood in the war room watching the tactical display. Green dots representing human ships were swarming around red dots that showed the alien fleet. Every few seconds, another red dot disappeared as an alien ship was destroyed. "How many enemy ships are left?" she asked. 137, came the reply from her tactical officer. "We've destroyed over 60 ships in the past 2 hours." Inside, the alien flagship Jennifer Adams and her team had reached the main power core. The room was huge, filled with glowing crystals that provided power for the entire ship. Jennifer began placing her resonance bombs around the crystals, while her soldiers watched for enemy patrols. "Bombs are in place," she reported. "We have 5 minutes to get out before they explode." But as her team prepared to leave, alarms began screaming throughout the alien ship. The Zephyrians had finally discovered that humans were inside their flagship. "All teams, we are discovered," Jennifer said calmly. "Execute emergency extraction in 60 seconds. Supreme Admiral Kethmore was in his command center when his security chief reported the human infiltrators. His anger was so great that he could barely speak. "Humans are inside my ship?" he roared. "How is this possible?" "Sir, they appear to have used our own teleporter technology against us," the security chief replied. "They know our systems better than we thought possible." Kethmore realized that the humans had been studying Zephyrian technology for much longer than anyone had imagined. They had not just copied alien weapons, they had improved them. They had taken Zephyrian science and made it better. "Find them and kill them," he ordered, "before they can do whatever they came here to do." But it was too late. Jennifer Adams and her team teleported off the alien flagship just as the resonance bombs exploded. The bombs had been placed perfectly around the ship's power core, and when they went off they created a chain reaction that tore the massive vessel apart from the inside. Captain Ryan Torres watched from his fighter as the alien flagship exploded, in a ball of fire that lit up half the solar system. The explosion was so bright that it could be seen from Earth's surface even in daylight. "Flagship is destroyed," he reported. "Repeat, the alien flagship is gone." With their command ship destroyed and their fleet trapped by Earth's gravity generators, the remaining Zephyrian ships began to panic. Some tried to surrender, but the human fleet was not in a mood to take prisoners. The aliens had started this war by murdering 15 million innocent people. Now they were learning what happened when you made humanity angry. Commander Amy Chen led her stealth squadron in attack after attack on the confused alien ships. Without their flagship to coordinate them, the Zephyrian fleet was falling apart. Ships crashed into each other trying to escape the gravity trap. Others were picked off one by human fighters that swarmed around them like angry wasps. "This is Chen to all units," she said over the radio. "Enemy fleet is in full retreat. Continue the attack. Show no mercy." Admiral Kyle Morrison watched the battle from his command station and felt a grim satisfaction. The aliens had come to Earth expecting an easy victory over a primitive species. Instead, they had found a trap that humanity had been preparing for 50 years. They had found an enemy that refused to surrender and had the technology to back up their determination. "Signal all human fleets," he ordered. "Prepare for the final phase. When we finish with these ships, we take the war to their home worlds." In her laboratory, Dr. Elena Rodriguez was already working on the next phase of humanity's response. The captured alien database contained the locations of every world in the Zephyrian Empire. Soon, human fleets would visit each of those worlds and deliver the same message the aliens had brought to Earth. But the human message would be different. The aliens had offered slavery or death. Humanity would offer only one choice: complete annihilation. The battle around Earth was almost over, but the real war was just beginning. The Zephyrian Empire had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years, conquering and enslaving dozens of species. Now they were about to learn what it felt like to be on the receiving end of conquest. And humanity had learned something about itself. During this war, when pushed to the edge of extinction, humans did not break. They became something far more dangerous than any alien empire had ever faced. They became the hunters instead of the hunted. The galaxy was about to change forever. Dr. Nathan Cross stood in the deepest part of NORAD Mountain, 20 miles below the surface of Earth. Around him, machines hummed with power that could crack planets in half. For 50 years, humanity had been preparing not just to defend Earth, but to make sure that anyone who threatened their homeworld would regret it forever. The core conversion is complete, he reported to General Hayes. Earth's molten center has been turned into the largest antimatter reactor in the galaxy. We now have enough power to fuel 1,000 fleets. General Patricia Hayes looked at the readings and felt a cold satisfaction. The aliens had brought planet-killing weapons to Earth. Now Earth itself had become a weapon that could destroy solar systems. "Begin Phase 2, she ordered. "It's time to take this war to them." Captain Ryan Torres now commanded the flagship of humanity's first interstellar fleet. The ship was called Humanity's Wrath, and it was built using the best of human engineering combined with captured alien technology. Behind him followed 200 other ships, all crewed by humans who had lost family and friends in the first alien attack. "Jump coordinates locked in," his navigation officer reported. "First target is the Zephyrian mining world of Kelvara. 3 billion aliens live there." Ryan thought about the 15 million humans who had died when the aliens destroyed New York, Tokyo, and London. The aliens had started this war by targeting innocent civilians. Now they would learn what that felt like. "Jump to hyperspace," he ordered. "Time to return the favor." Dr. Elena Rodriguez had worked day and night to create weapons that could track down every last alien in the galaxy. Using the captured Zephyrian database, she had built devices that could detect alien DNA from orbit. There would be no hiding places, no secret colonies, no survivors to rebuild their empire. "Admiral Morrison," she said over the communication link. "The tracking systems are online. We can find every Zephyrian in the galaxy, even if they try to disguise themselves as other species." Admiral Kyle Morrison nodded grimly. He now commanded humanity's space forces from a massive new space station built in Earth's orbit. The station was armed with weapons that could destroy entire fleets, and it coordinated attacks across dozens of star systems. "Good," he said. "When we're done, the word Zephyrian will exist only in history books as a warning to other species." The first human fleet arrived at Kelvara without warning. The mining world had never been attacked before because it was deep inside Zephyrian space, protected by their powerful military. The aliens on the surface looked up in shock as human ships appeared in their sky like avenging angels. Captain Sophie Martinez led the orbital bombardment. Her ships carried weapons that had been designed specifically to destroy alien cities. The energy beams that lanced down from space were precise and deadly, turning Zephyrian buildings into vapor while leaving the planet's natural resources untouched. "Target their military bases first," she ordered. "Then their government centers. Leave the civilian areas for last." But the aliens had made the rules of this war when they destroyed 3 human cities without warning. There would be no mercy, no prisoners, no negotiation. The Zephyrian Empire had chosen total war, and humanity would give them exactly what they had asked for. Commander Daniel Hayes led ground forces onto the planet's surface. His enhanced soldiers moved through alien cities like unstoppable machines, hunting down every Zephyrian they could find. The aliens tried to fight back, but their weapons had been designed to fight other aliens, not humans who had studied their technology for 50 years. "Sector 7 is clear," Daniel reported. "Moving to Sector 8, no survivors." On the Zephyrian homeworld, Supreme Chancellor Vorthak received reports from across the Empire that filled him with terror. Human fleets were appearing at every Zephyrian world at the same time. It was impossible. The humans should not have had enough ships or enough knowledge of Zephyrian territory to launch such a massive attack. "How many fleets do they have?" he demanded. "Our scouts report human ships at all 20 of our star systems," his military advisor replied. "They appear to have more ships than our entire empire ever built." Vorthak realized that the humans had been planning this war for much longer than anyone had imagined. They had not just been preparing to defend their world. They had been preparing to destroy anyone who threatened them. Captain Logan Pierce commanded the fleet attacking the Zephyrian capital world. His ship surrounded the planet like a metal fist, blocking any escape. On the surface below, billions of aliens lived in cities that had never known war. "This is Captain Pierce of the Human Defense Force," he broadcast to the planet. "Your empire invaded our world. You murdered 15 million of our people without warning. You offered us slavery or death. We choose to give you the same options you gave us." The answer came back quickly from the planetary government. "We surrender. Please, show mercy." Not all of us supported the invasion of your world. Pierce thought about the children who had died in New York, the families destroyed in Tokyo, the innocent people vaporized in London. The aliens had not shown mercy to humans. Why should humans show mercy to them? "Mercy was an option when your fleets first appeared over Earth," he replied. "You chose war instead, now face the consequences." The bombardment of the Zephyrian homeworld began at exactly the same time as attacks on 19 other alien worlds. Across their entire empire, Zephyrian cities burned as human fleets delivered justice for the attack on Earth. Dr. Elena Rodriguez monitored the attacks from her laboratory on Earth. Her tracking devices showed Zephyrian life signs disappearing from planet after planet as human forces carried out their mission with ruthless efficiency. "General Hayes," she reported, "Zephyrian population levels are dropping rapidly across all target worlds. Estimated time to complete extinction, 6 months." President Maria Rodriguez addressed the people of Earth from the rebuilt White House. Behind her, through the windows, construction crews worked to rebuild the cities that had been destroyed in the first alien attack. "My fellow humans," she said, 6 months ago, an alien empire came to our world offering us slavery or death. Today, that empire no longer exists. We have proven that humanity will never bow down to anyone who threatens our families, our children, or our way of life." She paused and looked directly into the camera. "Let this be a message to any other species in the galaxy who might consider attacking Earth. We offered the Zephyrians peace when they first arrived. They chose war. We gave them exactly what they asked for. The war lasted exactly 6 months and 3 days. When it was over, there were no Zephyrian survivors anywhere in the galaxy. Their cities were ruins, their fleets were scrap metal, and their empire was nothing but empty space waiting for new inhabitants." Admiral Sophie Martinez stood on the bridge of her flagship as it orbited the former Zephyrian homeworld. The planet below was silent and empty, its cities dark, its people gone. In 6 months, humanity had erased an empire that had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. "Signal all fleets," she ordered. "Mission complete. The Zephyrian Empire has been eliminated, but humanity was not finished." Using captured alien technology and the vast resources of 20 conquered star systems, they began building an empire of their own. Not an empire of conquest and slavery like the Zephyrians had built, but an empire of protection and cooperation. Captain Amy Chen commanded the first human diplomatic mission to the Altarian Republic, a peaceful species that had been enslaved by the Zephyrians for 300 years. When human ships appeared in their sky, the Altarians prepared for another conquest. Instead, Amy broadcast a simple message. "The Zephyrian Empire is gone. You are free. Humanity offers friendship and protection to all species who choose peace over war." Within a year, 12 different alien species had joined the Human Galactic Alliance. They brought their own technologies and knowledge, making humanity even stronger. The galaxy learned that humans were not conquerors like the Zephyrians had been. They were protectors who would defend any species that chose cooperation over aggression. Dr. Nathan Cross stood in his laboratory on Earth, looking at star maps that showed human influence spreading across the galaxy. The antimatter reactor at Earth's core still hummed with enough power to destroy any enemy, but now it also powered hospitals, schools, and research stations on dozens of worlds. "General Hayes," he said, "we've received a request for protection from the Centauri Federation. They say another aggressive empire is threatening their worlds." Patricia Hayes smiled. It was not a cruel smile like the one she had worn during the war with the Zephyrians. It was the smile of someone who had learned that the best way to protect your family was to make sure no one else had to face the same threats. "Prepare a fleet," she ordered. "Let's go remind the galaxy what happens to bullies who threaten peaceful species." The message had been sent and received across the entire galaxy. Earth had offered peace to the Zephyrian Empire, and the Empire had chosen war. Now the Empire was extinct, and humanity had taken its place as the guardians of galactic civilization. Any species that chose cooperation and peace would find humans to be loyal friends and protectors. But any species that chose conquest and aggression would learn the same lesson the Zephyrians had learned. Humanity did not start wars, but when wars were forced upon them, humanity finished.